Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and wait until you see what I'm going to show you in this video. Last night, I was having a glass of wine and I was ready to go to bed, and I literally see this Gateway Pundit article, and when I saw it, I was like, uh-oh, I'm about to go through this video they've got on here and find the good part, and I immediately started putting them out. And boy, are these are like mega bombshells, okay? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable what we're finding out. Now, Michelle Vandenberg, okay? Last night, I'm about to go to bed, and here's what I see. Breaking exclusive. Former SEC Chairman Clayton directed Perkins Coie to draft memo giving Ethereum and Bitcoin unique advantage in crypto space. Then his SEC sued their top competitor. On day Chairman Clayton left the SEC. Well, when I saw this, I was like, well, that's not possible because Jay Clayton didn't have anything to do with it. In fact, I've been told by some people that they've talked to people. And no, Jay Clayton, some of the people at the SEC, they just went rogue, right? Well, here, this says Jay Clayton was actually behind the memo, okay? But that's not possible. We know that's not possible because that speech that Hinman made was only his personal opinion. Well, that's what I thought until I started going through this article. Now, this article talks about how today they've uncovered a video that indicates former SEC Chairman Clayton was behind the SEC's move that created a favorable environment for two cryptos, Ethereum and Bitcoin, while he was at the SEC. He dropped a lawsuit on their largest competitor, Ripple, in his last day in office. We know that Clayton made out handsomely as a result. Now, as you go down to this, the first thing you ought to see, here's a video that I put out the other day that he's got in this article about the Venture Capital Working Group. Remember Nancy Wotas over here? And I'll play a little bit.
And I think that's where Brad came in and made an incredibly effective presentation in one of the days that we met with a variety of people.
Okay, so this is 8 days before the Hinman speech, and the guy Brad she's talking to is the guy from Union Square Ventures. Now, the people in the Venture Capital Working Group were Andreessen Horowitz, Union Square Ventures, and then three law firms. Hers was Cooley. The other one was Perkins Coie, and the other one was called McDermott something and Emery, I believe. So here's the video that these guys uncovered. Now I went through and found the important parts of the video. And up until yesterday, folks, up until I saw this Gateway Pundit article, I thought that all of this was Bill Hinman's personal opinion, right? No, I didn't really think that. I'm just saying that's what they've told us all along. John Deaton had said, just when I think I can't find anything better, it's actually the Gateway Pundit, the Hinman speech, which tracks my memo pretty well. Which client specifically did Perkins Coie represent when pitching his memo? And to the SEC, that is not privileged information. Don't try and say it is. Listen to this. Well, if I can hit the refresh button.
And that's what the Hinman full decentralization, and that's what the Hinman speech, which tracks my memo pretty well, has come out and said. And the Hinman speech has generally said, okay, decentralization, we think, gets both Bitcoin and Ether out of securities law status. And sort of the way I positioned the memo was,
I want you to hear how he said that again.
Of securities law status.
Right.
Think gets both Bitcoin and Ether out of securities law.
Gets both Bitcoin and Ether, like there was an objective to get Bitcoin and Ether out of securities law so that they aren't securities, to get them there. That was this guy's job, is the way he says that.
And sort of the way I positioned it in the memo was, that's kind of like a bookend. That's like an easy case. Like if it's fully decentralized, there's no real issuer, so it's relatively easy to test for a fully decentralized token.
Okay, so there's that, and then there was more. Now, I wrote this out. Think about how long and by how many people at the SEC we've been told that Bill Hinman's speech was just his personal opinion and not the official position of the SEC. Now, this guy, this attorney here at Perkins Coie, is going to describe for you, and I forgot to tell you what his name was. His name is Lowell Ness. He's a partner at Perkins Coie. He is now going to tell you the story of how Jay Clayton was involved from the very beginning and literally requested that these guys put a memo together. And it's the same memo that they eventually sent on March 26, 2018 to the SEC. And it's what he says in his own words most of it became the Hinman speech, folks.
What happened sort of in the January-ish timeframe, you guys probably all saw Jay Clayton, who's the chairman of the SEC, make a lot of noise about the fact that there was the gatekeepers were not doing their job, that there was all this fraud in the market, and he was probably doing that as a response to Joe Grunfest's op-ed piece in I can't remember if it was the Times or the Journal, but Grunfest is a professor at Stanford, himself a former SEC commissioner. So when he called out the SEC for not enforcing it, I'm sure Jay took it to heart. So Jay went on the warpath, did these scathing speeches and calling out the industry and everybody. But he then, after talking to Grunfest in a fireside chat at the Stanford campus, made his way over to see Andreessen the next morning. And this is the part that now not a lot of people know. And he invited Chris Dixon to round up the sort of the industry players who were really kind of trying.
Chris Dixon is the guy from Andreessen Horowitz.
Do it the right way, and ask for a couple of things. One, essentially, lay out in a very detailed, written, footnoted memo what
the footnotes in that memo basically say we think Ethereum's decentralized and this should not be a security.
Existing law says about utility tokens, and two, give us a proposal for where to go from here. And so Andreessen, I've been representing Andreessen in all of their crypto investments since the beginning, and so I got the chance to be the one to write all that stuff. So, and I pulled in Cooley, and I pulled in a couple of law firms. So we've now got a nice little working group of law firms that are in the space that are doing this.
Okay, so then I think once Jay Clayton and his people found out about that Gateway Pundit article, that's when they decided, might be time for me to get on CNBC and talk about this. I just want to show you this first part, if I can, and then I'll show you that little thing up top.
Pivot the conversation for a moment to crypto, because their SEC, where you formerly sat, over whether
I just want to get to this part.
Taking it to Gary Gensler, and then stepping back a bit about this product where there would be they're no longer going to offer that after Gary Gensler effectively said, if that's the case, it would be a security. What should it be at this point?
Look, Andrew, I think, well, I hope that I've been consistent on this. Brent McIntosh and I wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal 4 or 5 months ago about this.
Just wanted you to hear that part, Brent McIntosh, because it's funny he mentions Brent McIntosh, because Andreessen Horowitz did not just bring Bill Hinman on after all of this. They also brought Brent McIntosh, that he says he wrote an op-ed about this with, okay? If you just want to see how this all lays out. Now, watch this clip. I couldn't find the Squawk Box clip, so this is a good one put up here by this Tim guy. Let me follow him. All right, let me do a refresh here and let you hear the BS here.
Said better, blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology is going to add tremendous efficiency to our incumbent markets, as well as provide new opportunities for investment. I believe that. That's my personal opinion. I think a lot of people believe that. The question around particular products and whether they will thrive, survive, fail, and that requires a micro-analysis as to what function those products provide and whether it's something people want and what the competition is.
Right. Jay, I do want to ask you one thing, because it's something that your critics seem to believe, which is that in your final days at the head of the SEC brought a case against Ripple. Now you're advising some other companies in this space.
Anyway, he acts like in this clip that he didn't even know these guys from Apollo Global or anything like that. Well, we'll find out in the coming days whether he knew about it or not. It's One River and Apollo Global are the companies he advises. And by the way, I was sent this by James Rule when I was about to make this video. In March, former U.S. SEC Chairman Jay Clayton joined One River's advisory council. Crypto fund manager One River raises $41 million from Goldman Sachs Coinbase. What do you know? What are the chances? Okay. Then John Deaton tweeted this, and this was a Brad Combs video. He put an awesome video together from this whole saga. Brad kills it in this Ether remix. He nails it when he says, we now know that Hester Pierce meant her words literally when she said a decided lack of clarity. She's 1,000% right. This was an intentional muddying of the water done by the SEC and Jay Clayton. They wanted everybody, all these other digital assets, to be in no man's land. That was the whole point. Keep it muddy. Let Bitcoin and Ethereum through the door and keep it all real muddy. And if you and then invite everybody to come talk to us. And if you do, those end up being big stacks of paper, and you die of 1,000 paper cuts, like what Nancy Wotas said. You die of 1,000 cuts. I believe Nancy Wotas, we know she was involved in meeting with all the lawyers who eventually got Ethereum the free pass, but I don't believe that she knew. This is based on my observing her. I don't believe she knew what they were really up to. I think she thought that they were trying to create a framework for everybody, and then they come out of it, and then from then on she's trying to work with the SEC and nothing's done. I mean, they can't do anything. They just sit on everything. That's what I think happened here. Okay, now listen to Brad Combs' video. This is a classic.
2017 was really based on kind of the SEC's statements to us privately and to the world publicly that there would really be no rulemaking, no action letters, no public rules of the road.
They're not going to give us any rules of the road, and they're telling him this behind the scenes too.
Decentralization, and that's what the Hinman speech, which tracks my memo pretty well, has come out and said, and both Bitcoin and Ether out of securities law status. And sort of the way I positioned it in the memo was, that's kind of like a bookend. That's like an easy case.
I'm going to remind you that my remarks are mine alone, not necessarily those of the commission, the commissioners, or the staff. So what we're trying to say is we don't see a lot of value in treating Ether today as a security.
Full decentralization, and that's what the Hinman speech, which tracks my memo pretty well, has come out and said. And
I'm going to remind you that my remarks are mine alone, not necessarily those of the commission, the commissioners, or the staff.
Op-ed piece in I can't remember if it was the Times or the Journal, but Grunfeld is a professor at Stanford, himself a former SEC commissioner. So when he called out the SEC for not enforcing it, I'm sure Jay took it to heart. So Jay went on the warpath, did these scathing speeches and calling out the industry and everybody. So, but he then, after talking to Grunfeld in a fireside chat at the Stanford campus, made his way over to see Andreessen the next morning. And this is the part that now not a lot of people know.
And now we all know Thanks, Lowell Ness. We'll take it from here to the mainstream media. Ethereum absolutely got a free pass. The question is why? Maybe that's what Hester Pierce was even talking about when she used the phrase a decided lack of clarity.
Yes, sir. Damn right. Words mean things, folks. A decided lack of clarity means that they decided to intentionally give a lack of clarity for the whole industry to let Bitcoin and Ethereum through the door and then slam the regulatory door on XRP and the rest of crypto. That was what they did, and I believe it was intentional, and I think Brad's right. Hester Pierce was telling you that with those words. She used those words intentionally. Now, this was put out last night while I was watching my son's baseball game. Scoop: Crypto mom Hester Pierce tells Fox Business she heartily disagrees with Gary Gensler's notion that crypto is destined to fail without government intervention. She also believes it's not the role of regulators to pick winners and losers in the crypto space. You know what Hester Pierce, if Hester Pierce wants to be a legend and a rock star of rock stars, Hester, if you're anywhere out there and you're listening to me, you need to tell those people to take this job and shove it and be a whistleblower. They pay money for that from the SEC. If you don't work there, I'm sure you can get it. Because if you don't work there, sure, why not get it? What you need to do is tell them to shove that job where the sun don't shine and do something for your country and shine a light on what these people have done. That's what you need to do. All right. Monica Long says, so proud of Team RippleX devs work building the CBDC private ledger. Bhutan's CBDC pilot is the first of many to come. We're just getting started. And then we're going to finish here. I wanted to show you all this. I was driving my son to his workout, and I heard Charles Gasparino on Fox Business. He said tomorrow he's having a surprise crypto guest on, and if you care about the SEC's unfair treatment of Ripple, you need to watch. He mentioned that it was going to be a major player in crypto, and he said he's going to light it up. Said CNBC protects the establishment. I was like, wow, this guy is on it now. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family to tune in to Charles Gasparino tomorrow because he's going to light it up. Thank you for listening.